Hello, dear friends. I'm glad to welcome everyone watching Sotnik-TV this moment. It's February 15th, 2020. The main topic of our today's show is Russia turning into an aggressive Latrine Heaven. Watch the video next. Russia was discussed during today's security conference in Munich. That won't give up its attempts to meddle in elections, including those in France. Russia is acting aggressively, and I guess that will keep on during the coming months and years, said Emmanuel Macron, the president of France. He is right. Moscow has big plans for Europe and the US, not to mention those plans on expanding its territory by means of Ukraine and Belarus. They keep pressuring Lukashenko with oil. While Alexander Sotnik, a pro-Kremlin propagandist in uniform and special services talking head, openly threatens the head of Belarus with Ukrainian scenario repeat. An informational shelling of Minsk in progress serves a proof of possible intention. Give it a little time and the hospitality of Kremlin will turn into hysterical howling from inside the cave. Into grave into me you scum. No thought of peacefulness is added by the fact of Putin deciding to start mass army tank park renovation. According to Audit Chamber, the federal budget will provide 3,100 billion rubles for state defense in 2020. And starting the next year, the government will return to feeding the military with additional funds. The cost will rise to 3.2 trillion rubles in 2021 and to 3.3 trillion in 2022. Special services paranoia is getting worse. Fabricating cases is such a routine for them now, so it's about time to discuss the new age of repressions. Amid that, a face detection system was set in Moscow that features 105,000 cameras. The system digitizes faces in online mode, checking for possible arrest warrants. All that could be called a breakthrough in security if not for the special services going that maniacal and ready to catch anyone, to plant anything on him and to imprison him under any law. Once there's a man, a law can always be found. The use of violence by those gangsters in uniform is no longer considered a crime. Impunity turned into the means of state protection doesn't simply corrupt, but leads to final police dehumanizing. Moscow Central Administrative District Police Office declared that Daria Sosnovskaya, detained during the rally on August 10th, provoked a police officer to punch her stomach. When Sosnovskaya noticed the officer going to pick up his stick, she tried to make a wide step on that, you see. And that was why the police officer, in order to avoid unlawful actions, first pushed your leg and then pushed your stomach area. The reply says, so there was no punch, that was a push. That's what they call she should actually thank for not being killed. We'll have to get used to such form of a dialogue with the regime. Russia turns more and more like some giant latrine. Vladimir Putin began constructing that way back in fall 1999, being the prime minister. Now they batten down the last hatches, they draft-proof cracks, they close secret passages. With boulders, darkness gathers, the stinks get more saturated. Yet the citizens get used to it during the past 2 decades. They no longer consider flagrant something that would shock public opinion 20 years ago. There's no public in Russia anymore, but rather some common-sense pieces that need to be turned into prison camp dust. By spreading the rumors about his alleged disease, Putin is testing the citizens and the system representatives of all levels. He is checking everyone's loyalty and personal commitment. That's what candidates for lifetime dictatorship do. He also gives to Ekaterina Tikhonova, his daughter, some important but not public functions. 1 month prior to constitution changes announcing the position of ombudswoman acting for the benefit of high-tech companies was given to the president's daughter, first deputy. The list of the companies under her protection includes the projects by the head of Safe Internet Group and the chief of big user data sector in Russia president's office. The list also includes an antivirus company convicted of espionage by the US. The dictator is building his relative defense line able to attack. Don't you believe that he is sick? He is getting ready for a long reign of his own over 1/7 part of the land. May he even look like a latrine scarecrow, and the price is a major war. It's a shame that such issue wasn't discussed by Munich Security Conference today. An important event took place in Amsterdam, the Netherlands, this week. A rally set by Russian LGBT activists was held there on Wednesday. They have shared a small video with Sotnik-TV. Let's watch that next, and after that I will provide my comments and add few things. The rally of LGBT activists from Russia and the former USSR countries took place downtown Amsterdam on February 12th. Sponsored by Amsterdam City Council, COC Netherlands and Amnesty International. The hosts voiced out the issues to be discussed as well as the demands towards Council of Europe regarding the delegation from Russia to stop LGBT pursuing in Chechnya, to cancel the law of homosexual propaganda, to provide equal family rights to same-sex couples. There were 8 paragraphs in total. That is our appeal and the demands from those representing the Netherlands in Council of Europe. Grad Wassing, Amsterdam Vice Mayor, said during his speech. I believe that not only the past but also the current and the future overall struggle for LGBT rights is important. All of us have to stand shoulder to shoulder against violation of our rights. Fighting for the right of every person to remain himself. The event was attended by human rights activists. Russian LGBT network was represented by Mikhail Tumasov. As was said here before, I represent Russian LGBT network, an organization that unites 27 entities from 25 regions of Russia. We turned out the first organization to start working on those problems in Chechnya.
Het is zo gegaan dat wij die eerste organisatie zijn geworden die is gaan werken met die problemen die ontstaan zijn in Chechnya.
Thanks to a great number of people just like you, to you attending, to you supporting with words and more. Thanks to COC helping a lot, as well as the Amnesty International, and the great number of organizations, we managed what we did. We were able to literally save quite a big number of people.
Met dank aan jullie, dankzij jullie, andere mensen, activisten, maar ook organisaties als COC, Amnesty International, het meest belangrijk gedaan. We hebben heel veel mensen het leven gered.
I guess that it's time to thank y'all for that.
En nu is het moment om jullie daarvoor te bedanken.
Kirill Khatoev, Kirill Uvarov, Sergei Lavrechov and Vladimir Kharkhordin, the rally initiators, often draw the attention of the Netherlands authorities to the risk and the death threat for Russian LGBT community members. Some progress there has already been achieved. There are many people in Russia declaring, once you have run away from the country with shame, you should now sit in Europe and keep quiet. However, the rally shows that even away from their home country, people can and should keep struggling for their rights against the tyranny by Vladimir Putin. Reported by Alexander Sotnik exclusively for Sotnik-TV. That was the video from Amsterdam. That seems just another rally held on Wednesday in the Netherlands capital and nothing more. Yet it's not as it seems. Kremlin and personally Putin reacted on Thursday. First of all, as reported by my companion in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, they got bothered there. The monitoring department got especially bothered and started sparking. They understand that the attitude towards Russia is worsening. that has been far from perfect, to say the least, and now those sex minority issues, they are pursued on the state level in Russia. The state is number one homophobe over there. Nevertheless, on Thursday, Putin used his peculiar recruiter style to, in fact, reply to that rally. He said there won't be no number one and number two parent. There will be mom and dad, Putin declared with a grin. The fact that there can be various moms and dads, and those in Russia are usually addicted to alcohol and maybe on drugs, as no sober living inside that cave is possible. There are lots of alcoholics and drug addicts over there, but Putin doesn't care. He doesn't give a damn, just like about those special kids dying in hundreds at orphanages ever since that Dima Yakovlev law was adopted. They may die, those are our kids. What do you want? They will die rather than the West gets them. So if we can't have them, no one can. They should die over here, back home. We will dig you a grave and bury you into motherland, kids. Same here. The institution of family has been turned into a nightmare. Family violence has been decriminalized. So a dad may now beat up a mom. A dad may now beat up a kid, and a mom may now beat up a kid. Yet the main goal is kids able to say mom and dad. While mom and dad laying drunk don't bother Putin at all. He puts intersexual relations at the forefront. For some reason he has assigned himself a role to decide what's normal and what's unnatural for humans. Who is he to count his sins? Is he a god or rather Satan? That boy's lover and piece of a state pedophile may speak for himself, but he decides for the rest of you Russians. As far as I know, after that Amsterdam rally, the homophobia problem in Russia is about to be taken to the European Parliament level. Those are the bad news for Kremlin. There's a risk of that issue becoming the deal breaker that will make further Russian delegation presence in the Council of Europe Parliamentary Assembly impossible again. Thus, the issue of state homophobia raised in Amsterdam may cancel Putin's victory of returning fascist Russia to the European Parliament. Personally, I would be glad to such outcome. There is no place in the Council for latrine figures. Even though Europe desires to get that 100 million euro fee from Russia. That will not smell good. Even a single Pearl Tolstoy stinks with fascism from a mile away. He may even provoke some unconscious fascist salutes. Those fascists in the assembly is a shame on the entire Europe. As for me, a so-called Russian world should not be allowed to salute and to celebrate its victory. All those victories need to be taken away from Putin. He may sit in his latrine yelling "occupied" forever. Then he may fall through that thing and drown in his own scum. Thank you for watching. Be sure to take care of yourselves. The times are getting really bad. Such times are almost here. Darkness gathers. The gloom is getting denser and denser. It's important not to lose yourself in that gloom. For those thinking, sane and sober. For those humane. Not to lose each other and not to lose themselves in that darkness. So take care of yourselves, of your hearts and souls. Meet you next week. Watch Sotnik-TV.